Welcome to the Warsaw Narrative, the first English language podcast dedicated to the history of Warsaw. Since this is a brand new channel, I would really appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. I would like to thank Santiago for suggesting today's topic. In 1939, an event almost took place in Warsaw that could have changed the course of history: an attempt to assassinate Adolf Hitler. Had it succeeded, it might have prevented the horrors of World War II. However, a chain of unfortunate circumstances prevented its success. By this point, Hitler had already survived over a dozen assassination attempts. Many believed he had a guardian devil watching over him. It was late September 1939. Poland was defeated, and the Germans planned a humiliating victory parade in Warsaw, with Hitler himself attending. The Fuhrer would greet his army in a black armored Mercedes-Benz G4 limousine. General Michał Karasiewicz-Tokarzewski, the first commander of the Polish underground state, saw an opportunity to give Hitler an unpleasant welcome to Warsaw. The plan relied on knowing Hitler's exact parade route, which the Polish forces secured by negotiating a delay in the German army's entry into the city. This allowed time to prepare an ambush. Half a ton of explosives was transported in horse-drawn carts to the intersection of Nowy Świat Street and Aleje Jerozolimskie. An extremely dangerous mission, especially since Warsaw was being bombarded by the German army. The men moving the explosives were ordered to pray as they worked, knowing a single mistake could cost them their lives. The explosives were buried in a trench and covered by a road surface. The batches were placed in the western and eastern corners of Aleje Jerozolimskie and Nowy Świat Street. A cable connected the explosives to a detonator inside the basement of a nearby building, where Polish soldiers would be waiting for the right moment. On the morning of October 5th, Warsaw was in total lockdown. The Germans, aware of assassination risks, took extreme precautions. Key Polish figures, including Warsaw's mayor, Stefan Starzyński, and 400 civilians, were arrested. Their lives were used as a guarantee for Hitler's safety. German soldiers patrolled the streets, snipers were stationed on rooftops, and a vehicle drove around with a loudspeaker warning in broken Polish that anyone stepping outside or looking out the window would be shot. As Hitler's 2-hour parade came to an end, the Fuhrer, cheered on by his troops, safely crossed the parade route in his Mercedes-Benz limousine. Later that day, he flew back to Berlin, never to return to Warsaw. So why didn't the plan succeed? The biggest issue was a breakdown in communication. Strict German movement controls prevented Major Franciszek Niepokulczycki, the operation leader, from reaching the site. Meanwhile, observers and messengers were forced to abandon their posts, making coordination impossible. This left the officer in charge of the detonator with an almost impossible decision. He had strict orders to detonate only if he could visually confirm Hitler in the convoy. But there was a problem. Several identical limousines were part of the parade, and the stakes were too high to make a mistake. Uncertain if it was Hitler or another German general, the officer hesitated as the parade passed by. A couple seconds too long, and the chance was gone forever. After the parade, the explosives were quietly removed by Polish engineers. Had Hitler been killed, it might have saved the world from a terrible war. But the Germans would have unleashed brutal revenge against Warsaw and its people. The hostages taken that day would have been the first victims. Put yourself in the shoes of the officer in charge of the detonator. Faced with uncertainty, would you have taken the chance? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for listening, and take care.